Hi, Danny Brown with Myriad at my home group, and this is Ask a Lender. Today we're going to talk about what you need to know before you buy a house when it comes to your mortgage. I'm joined today by Garrett Sergvenik and John Emmons, two seasoned lenders here in Arizona. And what are some things that people should know before they buy a house?
Obviously you have to get pre-qualified. Put together your down payment. Make sure that the payment that you're looking for is something that you can afford and fits into your budget. Because just because you're pre-qualified for it doesn't mean that you should necessarily go for it. So I think those are the three main things when looking, and then obviously finding an agent and starting the shopping process. Before finding an agent, from what I understand, most agents won't let you in their car unless you are pre-approved.
Actually, some people won't let you in their house until you're pre-approved.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So, first step is contacting a lender, and the lender that pre-approves you doesn't necessarily have to be the one that you work with. Typically, obviously, they want your business as well, and they'll follow up with that, but, that's the first step.
How much does it typically cost to get a mortgage?
Well, with a mortgage, there's a few big ticket items as far as fees. You've got your appraisal, you've got your title work, your lender's origination, and then beyond that, the only other costs that you may incur, and it's up to you, are points. So points are just, you've got, as he mentioned, a range of rates available. The lower you go on that range of rates, the more you're going to spend as far as points. The higher you go on that range, the less you're going to spend. And you can even use some credits from points to cover some of your other costs. So we have clients that will come in and will be able to put only their down payment down on the mortgage, and that's their only out-of-pocket expense. And we have clients that choose to buy down that interest rate and pay some extra fees to get a lower payment that fits better in their budget and makes more sense long-term for them.
So can you go into a little bit of detail on what the difference is between rate and APR?
I guess the easiest way to put it is really your interest rate is really what's going to determine how much interest you're going to pay on your mortgage. The APR is really just a representation of your interest rate you're paying plus any closing costs or fees that you have or mortgage insurance that you're paying. So to really look at interest you're going to pay over the life of your loan and calculate your mortgage payment, that's strictly the interest rate. But the APR is a good way to make comparisons with lenders because it's going to take into account closing costs and interest rate as well.
And are any of these fees negotiable?
Yes and no. Yes and no. The fees are set. The lender's origination is typically going to be paid regardless, especially when you're working with a brokerage like us, because we have to pay that lender. The appraisal is a cost that's there no matter what. We can't charge you less for that. Title work is a fixed cost. But what is negotiable is the lender or the broker will have some margin built into the pricing on the loan to where, if you want to negotiate, they can eat up some of that margin and actually use that to cover, say, some of your other closing costs and bring those down. And you can also do that with your interest rate, where if you're going slightly up on the rate, you can get those same types of credits to cover costs. So yes and no, they are, but it's kind of a roundabout way.
And finally, what sort of documentation do people need to provide to a lender in order to get qualified?
It's going to be specific to each person's scenario. Obviously, it's going to differ. But if you're looking at just the basis, income documents and asset documents, you're talking about things like pay stubs, most recent pay stub, last 2 years of W-2s, 2 months of bank statements, proof of down payment. If you're someone who's self-employed, obviously you're going to have things like tax returns and stuff like that. But it's going to differ for everyone's situation, so that's what you'd want to talk to the loan officer about. But those are kind of just the regular things that you would want to have available.
Great. Well, this has all been really good information. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining us. This was Ask a Lender. I'm Danny Brown with Myriad at my home group, and we'll see you in the next one.